on the near side of the field as well as on the far side, where there are flags fluttering on both sides. And we're almost ready for the off. I suppose the Irish team, to begin with, is coached or managed by the team manager Paul Ryan, who's from Cork. He's involved with the Midland Tigers. He's a logistics project engineer with PM Grove. Coached then by Sean McElhone, a Toomsbridge man of County Antrim, a member of Carrigan GAA Club, from up there at the top of Lough Neagh. And McElhone has really stamped his own on the team here. He's assisted by Paul Brogan, who works with Philip McElhone in construction, and Pat Levy from Mullingar. Also Brian Curran of the Leaside Lions. And we'll talk a little bit more about the game in Ireland and indeed in Great Britain as the game develops here. The Great Britain team managed by Adam Bennett, and the throw-off is in. We're away.
And an infringement straight away, a player entering before the ball had left the umpire's hands, entering the square, which results in a free to the opposition. So Martin Hinchy took that one there for Great Britain, and they're up and running.
Long ball sent in there, one inside by Sean Paul Henry. It's easy to confuse Kevin McSorley and Sean Paul Henry, two of the Belfast Redbacks. Actually, that was Brendan Kelly even. Another guy that's very easily confused. We've got a throw in here in the out of bounds area of the field, and the play developed through the centre. Great Britain Bulldogs looking to work the ball, handballing it off, sending it in long there. It's broken away from the number 2, Chris James. He's been a really big threat for them thus far, and there's a fine score and a goal kick by David Saunders.
Yeah, keeping up his record. He's scored in every game so far, so certainly continuing in that vein, and a great start for Britain, but they've been doing that all week. They've been getting great starts in games.
Saunders, James and Sam Willett have been massive all week in the games for the Great British Bulldogs. Have been very impressed by their footballing skills, their physique, and indeed the strength and conditioning is something that, you know, is very, very strongly eminent in the teams that are here, and particularly in these two teams who make up our grand final today. The Irish need to settle down a little. They need to get a bit of control on possession, and as I said, the Irish are the number 1 ranked team in the World Football rankings, and they'll be looking to try and get on top here pretty quickly. They're spying by Belfast Redbacks, and here the umpire throws it in.
Already we're seeing that the British tactic is to try and get numbers into that square and make it difficult for Ireland to get a clean kick into the forward line. So smart setup by the Britain team.
Yeah, they've definitely pushed up. Here's a chance. It's going in long. It's in towards Brian O'Connell. Murish Barkley coming towards it. The number 24 there for Ireland, Ryan McCluskey. Ninga just slips from his possession, and now the British will look to build slowly from the pocket area. Not letting very much space happen there. We see things here encroach slightly into the 50. That's cleared very well by the British number 4. That's Graham Bickerdick. We've got our roving reporter down on the sideline. We'll be going down to him very soon. That is Kieran Hart. There's a ball won by Brian O'Regan, the Irish captain, Castleconnor GAA club man from County Galway, a Galway Magpie and captain of the Irish team. County Sligo, sorry, Castleconnor. We're on the Twitter earlier wishing him best of luck. He plays with the Galway Magpies in Galway. O'Regan, a strong footballer, a very, very capable player. There's the number 16 over there on the far side, Ger Walls, who has been central to the Irish defensive units and developed the play very well at different stages in their games to date. And now we'll go down to Kieran Hart.
We are here live down on the side of the sideline here. It's been a cracking start to the contest. Just being down here at player level, you will get a sense for how hard they're throwing themselves in at the ball. And I tell you what, that first goal kicked by David Saunders for Great Britain absolutely got the players alight. They were going hard at it. So it's going to be close, and we're keeping you up in contact. I've also got here Ben McCormick, head of AFL Europe. Ben, what have your thoughts been to the opening of this match so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Red hot contests, and the boys are really going for it here. We've got a 50-metre downfield, which will take Rod Stewart, Morris Bartley into goal for quite an easy kick for him. He's a goal machine and he's enjoyed that one, and that brings him on level peggings.
Maurice Bartley kicking the score there, and the Irish are back on level terms here. We've got a game on our hands now. Things are tightly poised.
Just the kind of start we were expecting, Finbar, that, you know, it is going to be a close contest, and it's great to see that Ireland coming level so soon after Britain taking that early lead.
It is a fine response indeed, and up we go for the throw in here. It's contested by the Irish number 26, that's Paul O'Halloran. It's won by the British. They're developing through their number 11, that's Sam Boyd. Sends it up, and it's intercepted there by the aforementioned Kevin McSorley, the Belfast Redback. Another guy from the Cargan GAA club up there in County Antrim sends it in long. The mark wasn't taken by John O'Regan. It crosses the English 50 metre line, and the umpire's in quickly. He's separating a tense situation.
Paying the free there to Ireland. It would appear obviously a physical contest, very evident from the pictures. Interesting to see Kevin McSorley, who you just mentioned, lining up in kind of a holding role at the back of the square for Ireland.
He does seem to be indeed, and in fairness, I suppose the Irish team through the coach McElhone have been quite defensive this week. Back down to Kieran.
Right, from down here on the ground, it is really a strong breeze that has blown up. It is 2 goals advantage in it, I reckon, and that's towards the Ireland goal. So they would want to be up by quarter time. They're going to make advantage of this breeze.
That's correct, Kieran. The elements have been consistent all week, where we've had the breeze blowing in to the Ballymun Road end of the DCU Sports Grounds. There's a long high kick in towards the pocket, but that's going to travel out of bounds on the full, and we're going to be restarting back there deep in the pocket, and it's very clear to see that this game is going to be quite clustered, and the centre field area is critical. There's a bit of a skirmish going on out there in the middle.
Yeah, a tactic you see in Australian football a lot, where players will bunch for a kick in and try and spread out, but obviously both teams are attempting it there. So Ireland are trying to or Britain are trying to bunch, and all the Irish players are going in amongst them, and what you're seeing then is a bit of a scrum, I suppose, is the only way to term it.
I have to say I've been impressed so far with the British team. Their goal kicking skills, their catching and kicking abilities are pretty prominent. There's a strong tackle going in on Maurice Bartley, and a lot of ooh-ahing from the British. David Gamble there with a very strong tackle.
It's David, a player with the South Cardiff Panthers, although a Scot himself. He plays for Scotland in the Euro Cup every year.
Team GB here are quite strong in the tackle. They're looking to contest every possession available to them. The umpire's in quickly, giving the advantage to Great Britain. The Bulldogs look to work it short. There's a mark taken by their number 6. Number 6 is Mark Ireland from the Sheffield Thunder. Mark was very impressive in one of the games earlier this week. I think it might have been their game on Tuesday. There's a long ball going in towards, and it's kicked through his own goal by John O'Regan, which constitutes a behind.
Yeah, a rush behind there from John O'Regan. Obviously they've spotted the threat of the British forward line, didn't want to take any chances, so felt it best to rush it through himself. And over on that far wing now we see John penalised for taking the player without the ball.
The game is tightly poised. We're at 7-6 with a goal kicking opportunity here now for the number 20 for Britain. The number 20 for Britain is Owen Ryland, another South Cardiff Panther, and the runners are coming in there with lots of H2O in terms of the searing heat. We've had temperatures of up to 24 degrees here in DCU earlier today in what was a searingly hot contest between Denmark and Sweden. There's a behind kicked by the British number 16, that's David Saunders. David Saunders is consistently on the board here as a scorer. He's scored his second score of today out for a behind, and that further puts the Irish a little on the back foot. It's spread a little better out around the centre, head out there towards the flanks. The number 26 for Ireland is Paul O'Halloran. Breaks from his possession up towards the number 4, Mark Levy. Mark from the North Leinster Giants. Handballs it short to the number 8, an imposing figure of Kevin McSorley. Lets it drift in long towards Maurice Bartley. Maurice, a really fine proposition in footballing terms. A guy with Munster rugby pedigree. He's tackled there, and the ball's turned over. The British have been firm in their tackling. They seem very resolute, very determined, and quietly capable. I have to say that they have countered the Irish Gaelic football and capacity of the Irish squad very well thus far into the game. Ball sent in, searching high in there towards the Irish number 9, Sean Paul Henry, but the ball goes straight out and over the out of bounds line on the full. Going to be thrown in here by the umpire. Here we go, up they go for it. Breaks down. The Irish win possession. Let it go long. Out searching for the ball there is the number 20, Paul Redmond from the Dublin Demons. Strong tackles made there. The Irish look like they have regained possession there. The advantage comes their way.
A great tackle by Brian Roach there, and again we saw in that previous stoppage that Ger Wall's just setting up at the back of the stoppages, trying to get long clearing kicks when Ireland are in trouble.
Getting very little opportunity to get kicking the ball though, I suppose, Kieran. Here's the aforementioned Roach on the ball. He's been very, very impressive. He was very impressive the last night in their game against the Croatian, your own team actually, in fact. Kieran, I have to say that he was one of the guys that really delivered with aplomb for the Irish. And even though the Croatians were quite physical, the Irish dominated that match very comfortably, something that mightn't have helped them coming into this game today.
No, probably not, because this game is going to be a very different proposition. We obviously were trying to make it a physical contest for them. I think we did that, but the fact that our league in Croatia is played as 9-a-side told against us ultimately, because Ireland had more exposure to this level of play on an open field.
I suppose from that perspective, for our viewers at home, what goes into the preparation of these teams? I'm just going to flick down to Kieran Hart on the sideline.
Sure, the Great Britain team have made this a plan, but anytime Maurice Bartley has gone near the ball for Ireland, he has been closely guarded and absolutely crunched by the Great British players. He certainly felt it after that last one, and I'm not sure if they're paying special attention to him or not, but he's feeling it at the moment down here at ground level.
I think you're right there, Kieran. He's a standout player for the Irish, and the British seem to have given a strong sense that they see him as a danger, or as a go-through man in the centre half forward position. There's a little bit of a schmozzle out there in the middle, but I suppose, Kieran, with this little break in play, what goes into preparing one of these teams for this European Championship? You know, they're very well conditioned, they're very strong. Your own Croatian team were no different in that regard. There seems to be a huge level of effort and energy put into the preparation of the teams.
All the teams make huge sacrifice in terms of, if you think about, some of these countries are quite large. Germany, Great Britain, you know, getting around organising training sessions. Each of them would have trained at least 20 times before coming here. In the case of Croatia, it was actually easier. Again, they train more often because all the clubs are based in the one city, Zagreb, so they would tend to train 3 or 4 times a week in the lead up to this. So you really are seeing a level of sacrifice that probably exists in a lot of amateur sport, but then the extra part is that they all dip their hands in their pockets to come to these championships as well, and that's something that we've really appreciated this week, that they've made the effort to come to Dublin, that they've made the effort to visit all its attractions and to enjoy themselves while they're here.
I'd have to concur with you there. I have to say that when I heard that, the extra level of commitment that's put into these squads by the players themselves is equally impressive, and I think they have really enjoyed their time here in Dublin as part of the gathering, and they've been granted a Céad Míle Fáilte by all here at DCU and elsewhere in the city, and I've heard lots of positive things from players from different squads in regard to how they've been welcomed here in Ireland. We have a goal kicking opportunity in here inside the Irish 50. This is a good chance for the Great British Bulldogs to stretch their lead, playing into the elements as Kieran had indicated earlier, so they'll be more than happy with how they've settled into this match. And let's see where this goes. Strong high kick, it looks like it's been delivered out for a behind, and that was from the inside centre pocket player that's on the British side. Their number 2, that's Chris James. Chris has been a very impressive scorer during the week. He's worked very, very hard for them. He's gotten a lot of scores in their games thus far, and I'm sure if you follow the AFL Europe Twitter feed, you'll be able to go back and search through some of the games and see some of the contests, because we've had some absolutely blinding games here as part of the week's championships. It's been very, very good fare, and as I said, the footballing skills are very prominent amongst this British team, considering I suppose that largely they're coming at AFL, some of them from maybe a rugby background or an American football background, and have had some involvement. There's a fine mark taken by the Irish number 16, Ger Walls. Ger Walls, a very fine player in his own right. He's a Belfast Redback, a strong key player. He's a red-hander. Lav Jarrag, GAA man from County Antrim. There's a ball sent in and across, but searchingly it goes out over the out-of-bounds line and away.
It's indeed Jared from the Lamdarragh club, as they call it in Belfast, but he's also had a little bit of time on the Antrim inter-county team, so you can see where that physical conditioning that he has comes from.
Definitely, and the footballing skills particularly of the team that are spined by these Belfast Redbacks, this Irish squad, very, very useful. The number 23 there into the game new, known as the Terrier, that is Sean Fallon of the North Leinster Giants. Maybe the strength and conditioning programme is still on the go for him.
No, Terrier, a very, very fit guy, I can tell you that from experience. He plays at my club. He's a guy who's run 3 or 4 marathons in the last year, so he's certainly got lots of stamina. He goes at the ball hard.
And get underway here for what's going to be the second quarter of this match. The Great British Bulldogs playing in towards the Ballymun Road end of the DCU sports grounds, and I have to say it's easy to see where Aidan Walsh and Michael Murphy and all of those hone their GAA skills. The fantastic facilities here at DCU, very, very impressive, and couldn't but be happy. There's a ball launched in very long by the number 28 on the British squad, and Chris James takes a mark in there, does he? It looked like it. And indeed it is. It's going to be a goal shooting opportunity or goal scoring opportunity for Great Britain here. That long searching ball that was sent in, we'll just check that out now for you to see who it was. That seems to have gone out for a behind. Yes, it has, and that's a slack kick. That's a little error from Chris James, and he'd be somewhat disappointed with that. And as the game has developed, possibly the British have had loads of possession, plenty of opportunity. Their work rate and their intensity has been up. Probably has been a little higher than the Irish thus far. They've been extremely strong in the tackle. There's Ger Walls in fighting for every crust he can get. Kicks the ball long, sends it up towards Brian Roach. Brian contesting with the British number 8, David Gamble. David Gamble's, and he succeeds. One of his colleagues comes in behind him. The number 9, Ian Mitchell from the Wolverhampton Wolverines. And GB Bulldogs are really going at it here. This is, as Kieran cited, an immense opportunity for them. It's a great take by John O'Regan, the Irish captain. And the centre field area is a very important aspect of both teams' play here. Clear to see that, Kieran.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, some of the strongest players on the field are playing in centre field. For Britain, we're just seeing Ian Mitchell there kick that away. But you've got John O'Regan, who's been one of the stars of the tournament, running onto it, kicking long, trying to find Ryan McCluskey. Just slips in behind him, and you've got Brian O'Connell there. Oh, bit of a clash between David Miller, known as Flash for his speed, and Brian O'Connell, and David Miller still down, so the umpires will check to see that he's okay before carrying on. We can go down to Kieran on the sideline.
You could absolutely hear the bone crunching here from, I think that's little Davey from the Irish team. It was his own play, there was nothing malicious in that, but on the sideline, the entire crowd here next to me has just let out one mighty ooh, as you could hear the bones just crunch. An unfortunate incident. He's up on his feet though. Well, he's not on his feet, but he's got his head up. He's standing up now. He does look like he's going to be okay. But I tell you what, you wouldn't want to receive too many more of those sorts of bumps on a day like today.
Flash boom bang there for David, and we thought that ooh collectively was for Kieran's flexing of his muscles, a strapping Aussie down on the sideline here, wooing the ladies and others as well. We see the play develop out into the centre field area. The Irish get on top here through Kevin McSorley. Kevin looks to spread the play out to the flank. Brian Roach, this is the danger man on the ball, gets a kick through, and that looks like it's gone out for a behind. He'll be a little disappointed, tried to slice it off the outside of the boot, but all the same, it's a score, and that brings the game to...
that brings Ireland 7, GB 9, so getting closer and closer, less than a kick in it. Well, obviously a kick in it would put comfort Ireland back in the game. Just our apologies for anyone there that lost the stream temporarily. It was an issue with the satellite here in the area. But it's good to see that this game continuing to be tight. Sean Fallon kicking a great ball in there. Bobby Byrne out onto it at speed, but it's just turned in, and Britain covering at the back.
We've been watching closely as well for your Twitter updates. I think the hashtag is listed on screen, or will be shortly, and we're glad to see any interaction we can get with AFL fans across Europe or anywhere throughout the world today. There'll be a lot of expat Irish people tuning in for these games as well. Maurice Bartley snap kicks it there, and it goes out for a behind, does it? No, it's been ruled out by the umpire, and the benefit of the doubt has been given to Britain. So Britain are going to counter from deep in their own pocket.
Yeah, you mentioned many of the expats watching. Obviously, when the Ireland team won at the International Cup 2 years ago, more than half the team were based with clubs in Australia, and I know that a lot of them are tuned in tonight to see how their former colleagues are doing in this European Championship. And there we have a goal from Bobby Byrne from the South Dublin Swans.
Bobby, a fantastic little corner pocket, a very good little player. He's been very useful to Ireland. He's got some scores this week as well, and he tends to work off stretch. Brian O'Connell there, the man that was involved in the earlier contact between David Miller and himself. That flash boom bang we had in the middle of the field, and we take this opportunity to wish anyone who's not at home a Céad Míle Fáilte and hope that they're all well. And indeed, we're very excited at the prospect of this European Championship being decided here in Dublin, and then with a view to later championships down under and everywhere else. So the Great British Bulldogs get on the play again, look to develop things. That's McSorley again, very strong footballer. Brian Roach gets on it. Irish number 6 Conor O'Halloran fighting hard for possession there. It's a real scrap at the moment. That's a great tackle there by Maurice Bartley. Yeah, and he looks pumped after making that tackle. I think he's probably fallen victim to quite a few, so he probably feels some sense of redemption from that.
Paid to him though, so obviously the umpires felt that was in the back. But Ian Mitchell not taking enough steps back and being blocked down by Dominic Joyce, and they're now under a bit of pressure in that square, and Ger Walls coming up, just misses the tackle. And as you said, Kevin McSorley just sitting back in a holding role, and there he is. It looks like he's being taken without the ball there. So Kev has a booming kick, so this will go some distance. Seeks out his Belfast Redbacks teammate Jared Walls, and we're off.
Yeah, they're formidable, these Redbacks. I wouldn't like to come up against them in any of the playing parks around Belfast. Here's Brian Roach after taking the mark. He's somewhat outside the 50 here. He's going to search out, look for Brian O'Connell deep in the pocket. Maurice Bartley has gone forward as well. Long searing kick, looks like it's going to go out for a behind, but a good kick all the same, and that brings us up to a 1 point game. No, 14-9.
14-9 to Ireland now, so it's strange that in both quarters it's been the team that's playing against this breeze that's actually taken advantage. But maybe that's just a reflection of work rate, that they know they have to work harder because of the way the wind is, and they're putting in that extra effort. So Paul O'Halloran now probably just scuffed that kick. Wouldn't be too proud of that, big Paulie. Great player that he is. Winner of the best on ground against the Australian AFL AIS Academy team last year when he played for the European Titans in Paris.
Excellent player in his own right. British here looking to develop in towards the pocket. There's a mark on here. Let's see, what's the umpire called here? I think he's calling a free, and he's given a free out there. The advantage going the way of Sean Paul Henry. That looked quite imposing and a fair threat to the Irish goal. I have to agree with Kieran there that we certainly see a harder work rate from the team playing into the elements, but most GA coaches would say the same. That's a fantastic mark by Brian O'Regan.
John O'Regan, great mark by him there, and a solid kick on then to Brian Roach, which is creating a platform for attack. Paul Redmond on the outside for the hand pass. Sean Walton attempts to tackle him, and the umpire says no, it's a British free, so I'm not sure what the call was there. Maybe just caught him high when he was trying to get possession there.
There's no doubt that a lot of these players make great sacrifices to play in the game. We can see there that Tom Brown, who plays his football with the Helsinki Heat Seekers, is in for Ireland there. Tom and Farrua on the Irish squad. Seems to be looking after the red-haired gene up there in Helsinki in terms of AFL. And the Great British Bulldogs are really impressive here. Their footballing abilities, their skills on the ball, their ability to kick with some aplomb and some accuracy has been hugely beneficial at different stages in the game so far.
Tight call there by the umpire. Sean Paul Henry looked to have got the ball from behind with a punch away, but the umpire deems that he was actually in the back of the player, and I think that's Luke Booth, is it, for Britain lining up a shot?
Yeah, Luke Booth indeed it is. Let's see. It's David Saunders actually. Yeah. Difficult to distinguish here the numbers on the jerseys on the far side of the field. That's a good kick right through for a goal, and the British will celebrate that. That brings us almost on terms. There's a point in it. Britain up by 1, 15-14. Game is ever so delicately poised. A lot of strong tackles and strong challenges being made out there in the middle. The encroaching of the centre field area is very, very strong. Number 20 for Ireland, Paul Redmond there on the ball, tackled, knocked to the ground. And centre field seems to be the area, the key contest in the match here, Kieran.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, you look at the quality of players that are out there in front of us in that square. You've got Martin Hinchy, he's played for the European Titans. You've got Ian Mitchell, captain of the GB team. Sean Walton, fantastic player who captained the European Legion team. So, I mean, both teams are putting solid footballers. And there we see John O'Regan again. Great clearance. Tom Brown follows up. Now, has he got the support? Isolated. Rare to see that for Ireland. Usually Ireland moving packs, but Tom isolated and left on his own there.
Yeah, I have to say we've looked a little bit defensive in terms of our attacks here, the Irish team, and that sweeper system. There's a great mark taken by the captain O'Regan, known affectionately as Plummer. He was levelled with a cruncher there from was it Chris James who put in that tackle? It looked a very, very heavy collision, and O'Regan is down, and he'll be nursing that one.
I can tell you from experience, not many things can put John O'Regan down. I've felt his shoulders on mine before, and usually he comes out on top when whoever he goes up against.
Oh, he's rattled there anyhow.
Serious crunch there on John O'Regan, the Irish captain. It was probably a little bit too late, to be honest. He had really kicked the ball, and Chris James came in and absolutely. Now, in terms of, he didn't get him with an elbow or anything, it was just straight up the line, hit him with the full force of his side, but it was a little bit late. It's good to see John O'Regan, though, has got to his feet. Hopefully he gets his breath back. It's bound to, one of those sort of knocks, tends to knock you off for a couple of minutes, so I wouldn't expect to be seeing the best of John O'Regan anyway for the next 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be replaced there on the Irish team for the moment. That was a heavy contact, and we hope we'll see the captain back shortly after the half-time hooter. The Irish have got the ball up into the English 50. We're looking to try and get something from this territorial gain, but the British are working the ball out very effectively. A short passing style, and then they release into the space. Checking back there, looking at Sam Willett.